The 11th gift, idealism, magical realism. The 11th gift is one of the great keys of our present age. The more people who can be encouraged to play with the imagery and creative power coming from the right hemisphere of the brain, the more healthy the world will become. The historical repression of the feminine power and of women in general is a direct manifestation of the imbalance within our brain chemistry coming through the 11th shadow. The imagery that lies trapped within us is the pressure of our ancestral past. In other words, these images are memories. Furthermore, these memories are not just personal memories, but collective memories that have lain repressed for millennia. Such memories exist within you as archetypes, and the moment you begin to understand what an archetype is capable of, you begin to work with the dynamic energy of the 11th gift, the gift of idealism. Idealism is given a bad rap in our modern world. It is seen as the opposite of realism, and realism is associated with the power of manifestation, whereas idealism is generally seen as weaker. The 6th gift of realism, however, is actually founded upon a magical truth, that the only thing needed for magic to occur is some form of structure and an open mind. This is not in any way at odds with the true nature of idealism. What most people think of as idealism is really the obscurity of the 11th shadow that is unable to manifest its dreams. For idealism to manifest in the world, all it needs is a structure to manifest through. But, and it is a big but, first you have to discover what your true ideals and dreams really are. The moment you begin to entertain the archetypes of the 11th gift, you open a floodgate of seemingly chaotic imagery in your inner life. If you are not prepared for this and the chain reaction that will inevitably follow, all kinds of delusional problems can result. The power of working with an archetype is that you know beforehand that no matter what you feel or experience, it is a projection of your own inner psyche. For example, if you have an altered experience of becoming the Buddha or experience messianic powers, instead of identifying with this experience, you can see it as an alchemical stage in your own psychic process. The danger comes with identification. The entire notion of past lives is based upon such identification, and although it seems perfectly harmless to identify yourself with a past historical character, it actually prevents the archetype from flowing deeper inside you. Archetypes move in fractal patterns, flowing from the past to the future and vice versa. Only in the present are you safe, because the present is the only thing you cannot identify with. Idealism represents the steady flow of archetypal memory into the world of form. As long as it is allowed free movement, it will manifest your dreams in the world. One of the trickiest things about your dream is that you never know what it will become as it emerges into the world of form. You only know the feeling that it stirs deep inside your heart. Your mind conjures visual images around your dreams and ideals, and this is where potential blockages to the flow arise. You must believe in the power of your dream, and at the same time, you must give up what it looks like. Every image, archetype, or mythical experience you have or see is a part of the river moving from the past towards the future, and vice versa. Because of this, the real essence of the 11th gift is the ability to play with the archetypes that pass before you and into your life. This very playfulness loosens your tendency to try to tightly grip your experiences. The 11th gift, as you may sense, is a world of magic and fairy tale, but make no mistake about its real power. With the right structure, this energy of idealism will manifest great things in your outer life. Through the 11th gift, all the forms of the natural world swirl within us. This is the land of the tribal totems, creatures infused with particular and potent ancestral power. In every culture, such totems abound. Even in our modern world, we use symbols and animals to represent our businesses and lives. Each one of these symbols carries real power behind it when it resonates with your inner ideal. In the world of the 11th gift, everything is a symbol of the endless pattern of the great archetypes moving from the world of the formless into the world of form, from the past into the future via the vital artery of the present. As we humans begin to think once again with our right brains, so we will bring much needed balance to the world of form. The result will manifest in the world around us as the dominance of the patriarchal forms subsides and the form of the feminine pole comes into balance with the male. This is the true meaning of the time we are living through. It is why so much ancient tribal knowledge is once again pouring into the collective consciousness of our planet. It is through this 11th gift that the true art of magic is once again returning to our world. The 11th Siddhi, light, uprooting the tree of knowledge of good and evil. As you follow the archetypal stream of the 11th gift, your life follows a unique course of self-empowerment that encounters many twists and turns, swells and swoops, and challenges to be confronted and ultimately embraced. There comes a time, however, when the archetypes you are encountering begin to fuse into fewer and fewer images until they become compounded into one single primary archetype. This image or being is the mark of your own nemesis. The primary archetype represents the distillation of all the aspects of your nature, and its appearance is so powerful that it literally brings an end to the process of evolution and growth. For some time, you must sit face to face with this inner demon, feeling the feelings that it engenders: awe, terror, chaos, and love. Whatever shape the mind tries to give to this creature is devoured by the extremely high frequency of the archetype itself. The primary archetype has been given many names by different cultures and creeds. It is the doppelganger of Freudian psychology, the Gnostic guardian of the threshold, or the Christian devil in the wilderness. It is a summation of the collective mythic projections of good and evil. Confronted by this great inner demon, the separate self begins to dissolve into the archetype itself. Every projection or urge to identify with anything is gradually purged from your psyche. Once the process has ended, true reality manifests within that human being for the first time. It is as though the world has become purified. Behind and through all forms, a light shines, a clear, pure light, not a physical light, but an intelligence beyond all identification. One enters the mind and body of the divine. This rare occurrence is the expression of the 11th Siddhi, and it is a hallmark of the one Siddhic state. In linear terms, this 11th Siddhi represents the result of what happens when all the archetypal memory stored in the collective unconscious has been filtered and expressed through an individual's life. It is as though you have pierced the veil that separates man from his mythic fall. You once again experience the world through the eyes of a child, as though it were the mythic Garden of Eden. Through the 11th Siddhi, you will see the true nature of mind as emptiness or spaciousness, and that mind or no mind is experienced through the brain as pure light. Light itself is seen as a metaphor within the world of form for the radiance of the divine presence. The light of the 11th Siddhi is nothing like the light that our eye perceives, although that is the closest words can come to conveying it to those outside of the Siddhic state. with the light comes an ineffable breath of peace that continually breaks like a wave from within every single viewed form. What was viewed as magical from within the gift level of frequency is now seen as the nature of reality. That the light is only to be found within the darkness is the greatest of mysteries. To the being within this city, nothing is obscured and no one can hide. Everything is now measured in terms of light and frequency, and it is quite clear who is authentic and who is simply pretending. For the being that attains the 11th city, light is everything. They appear enrobed in light because that is all they can see. If they become teachers, which is more than likely, given their understanding of the mind, they continually reflect their own light, but at the same time guide others into their own darkness. A great irony of those who understand the pure light of the 11th city is that they actually appear to lead people directly away from the light in order to draw them closer to that light. The one who brings this city into the world brings a vision of the true future of all humanity. In traveling back to the beginning of time in their consciousness, such people see the underlying fulfillment of evolution all around them. Even though time may not evidence this state of Eden, such people live within it all the time, which is their great paradox. Throughout human history, certain generations are born in the world holding a key to specific evolutionary leaps in the planetary consciousness. Through the medium of certain cyclical astrological alignments, these generations have a high incidence of activation in the 11th gift. They are the idealists, and when they come into the world, they change the world. The last time this occurred was at the time of the Industrial Revolution in Great Britain, which set the stage for the modern world we see around us today. However, at such times, there are always one or two who come into the world and awaken through the 11th city, bringing a new spiritual vision of our future. Today, coinciding with the writing of this book, another such generation is being born in the world, but one with a different agenda. The future idealists will carry more of the Siddhic frequency into the world, laying the foundation for another great revolution, but not a technological revolution. The future revolution will be a transformation in the human spirit itself. The 11th city itself has confused many people over the years. In the modern New Age, there is a huge rise in people who are actively seeking the light that this city promises. However, no one who attains this city does so except through traveling the darkest aspects of their psyche. The movement to embrace the inner light may be paved with good intentions, but so much of it simply emerges through the obscuration of the 11th shadow, which wants the light without having to embrace the dark. As a result, there is a great shadow dynamic at work in the world. This is especially true through the medium of the great religions which seek the light up there. The light has never been outside us, but resides deep within matter itself. It is a little-known paradoxical law that the densest regions conceal the highest vibrations, and that true ascension moves downwards and inwards. The great challenge in today's world is to bring clarity to the cosmic issue of good and evil. The mass consciousness, operating out of the left side of the brain, favors the light above all else. The feminine principle of darkness, coming through the right side of the brain, has been set against the light. This is why an upsurge in darkness always precedes the breaking through of the true light, as opposed to our projected image of the light. The pure light of the 11th city has nothing to do with good and evil. It represents the transcendence of duality. You can see how deeply this 11th gene key is wound up with the notion of spirituality and religion. You can also see how profound the Christian myth of Eden is, with its tree of knowledge of good and evil. As long as we see things in terms of good and evil, we have embraced the fall. In the future, as the great mutation triggered by the 55th gene key comes to humanity, the 11th siddhi will crack open our perception of the world, symbolically uprooting the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. At that point, we will feed directly from the tree of life, which streams forth light. This light will become our very food as it feeds our subtle body and slowly causes us to melt into the very heart of creation itself. One final profound revelation coming from this 11th gene key and its siddhi concerns the consciousness shift connected to the year 2012. When you hear the 55th gene key, you will come to understand how this date relates to the great change that our human species is currently moving through. Known as the time of melodic resonance, 2012 brings our planet into geometric alignment with the center of our galaxy. This event has been predicted and spoken of by many indigenous cultures for many thousands of years. In the great wheeling arc of the 64 gene keys, every gene key has an exact position in relationship to the cosmos, and thus filters the cosmic stream as it enters our planetary system. It is the 11th gene key that relates geometrically to the galactic core itself. This is why it is from here through the 11th siddhi that the core light emerges. As we move towards and beyond 2012, the pure light from the galactic core will geometrically reach our planet and begin to rapidly transform our entire ecosystem. This will also trigger our DNA to release its inner light and catalyze the siddhic states in many people. This, in turn, will exponentially increase the frequency field of the whole of humanity and Gaia herself.